Because you got a wonky eye. I mean, even if it stops you from breathing, you can just not do that.
Everything's hidden.
A long time ago, we did a bit about Batman. Who's the best Batman? Forrest Gump.
I am the knight. You look like a box of fucking sweet. We're gonna receive all sorts of hell for these horrible acts.
Yeah, we are.
You know what I'm talking about? Flavor Town.
Back off the piece of shit remark.
Nobody beats me.
Florida of the Midwest.
As you know, he doesn't know anything, so...
But the gods comment. Comment at the top.
Fuck you, bro. Let's get into this shit.
So you're doing accents today?
Rock lobster.
Let me break this down for you.
Fort Washita.
How do you like it?
Your hamburger on a bad day.
Hang on, I just gotta air up my tires.
Alright, shit show begins in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to my Friday night. Yes, Miss Daisy.
Someone's got their panties in a twist.
Oh, I just need to straighten out these papers real quick.
Oh, are you reading this one?
Am I reading this one?
No.
No.
No, fuck
No, this is all you, baby. All you.
I think I need a minute.
Oh my god.
Can you pause? No, I'm just
No.
kidding. Don't pause. So I was telling Billy about my day. And Home Depot, if you're listening, get your shit together. Jesus Christ.
What happened?
So my company built this thing. It's a tub that's supposed to go into the ground, and it has a TV in it, and the TV's gonna pop out of it, and it's got a lid to keep it waterproof, but in case any water gets in, we installed a bilge pump.
Sure.
So the guy who went to Home Depot got a bilge pump that is a manual bilge pump, which means you have to plug it in anytime you need to draw water out of this tub.
Versus using the straw. Gotcha.
Correct. Rather
Stupid
than
fucking face.
rather than the siphoning method of pulling gas out of a car. Yes. Okay. So, I go on the website of Home Depot.
Sure.
And I go, okay, we'll just get it's called a float switch. Basically, it detects when water's getting to a certain level, and it closes the circuit and allows the bilge pump to turn on.
Right.
It's like whatever.
It's not fucking rocket science.
Yeah,
right?
It's not rocket Scientology.
You know?
I mean, I dabble in rocket science.
No, you don't.
A little bit.
You fucking don't.
Just a little. Just
no,
tiny bit.
no.
Listen,
You've seen it.
just because you play, what's the name of the game?
Kerbal Space Program.
Kerbal Space Program. I love that name, by the way. Kerbal Space Program. Hopefully, you get some more subscribers to your rocket science game.
That's right. I mean, we're trying to learn, and you're over here being a dick.
It's not rocket science.
Listen, your tester looked very concerned.
He died several times.
At least the one time we saw.
I mean, amateur rocket science.
So,
No.
I'm looking for
You
this.
got to break a few omelets.
I gotta go to Home Depot, and I gotta get this fucking float switch.
Okay.
So I'm walking around. And my leg hurts, by the way. So,
Still.
yeah. It's gonna take...
That thing is purple.
It's gonna take up to 2 months to heal.
He showed me.
Yeah, it's nasty. My whole
Still-
foot is just filled with blood. It's
Still,
so gross.
still gonna marry her?
Thinking about it.
Okay.
Got some strong opinions. So I'm walking around, and I finally get to, somebody with the orange apron, and I say, hey, I'm looking for this thing. It's a float switch. And they go, a float switch? What the fuck is a float switch? I understand it's a little obscure.
Yeah, what department were you in when you asked him?
Any department I could find a person in an orange
No,
apron.
but where did you actually find him?
Not anywhere near where I assume it would be. How
Yeah.
about we say that?
Just saying,
So
they probably don't. They're like, who the fuck is this guy?
No,
What the fuck is he talking about?
So I say to this guy, I go, I'm looking for a float switch. I describe it.
Yeah.
And he goes, you know what? The store got reset recently. So some of the things aren't in the area you would think they would be in. And I'm like, okay, that's a fucking go pound sand. You know.
I think it's more like when you describe it to me, it's kind of like a shitty thing to say, but it's also like, I have no fucking clue where that is.
Yeah, that's
or what it is.
No, this dude just wanted to pass me on to the next fucking guy because he didn't know what the fuck he was doing.
Because he fucking implied that I know what it is and I know where it used to be, but I can't tell you where it is now.
Yeah, exactly. So he's the smartest guy in Home Depot. He goes, you know what? Go over to paint. There's a guy over there who
I
been here
already love
longer.
this story.
He's been here longer. He was around during the reset. He'll know what you're looking for. So I go over to paint and I say to the guy, I go, hey, can I bother you for a second? He goes, are you here to pick up or are you here to place an order for paint? And I go, no. I was just talking to this guy over here, and that guy's fucking gone. He's probably in the break room hiding.
Yeah.
So I say to this guy, he goes, that guy over there, wherever he went, said that you could help me find this thing that I'm looking for because you've been here longer and you kind of helped reset the store. And the guy's just like, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I don't understand what your thing is. So I say, okay, well, it's this thing. It's called a float switch, and it activates a bilge pump. And the guy goes, yeah, try plumbing. So I'm like, okay, well, that's pretty fucking helpful. Thank you.
Logical, I guess.
So I go to plumbing. It's not in plumbing. So I find somebody else that's kind of, walking around, and I'm like, hey, this is a weird question. Or no, I approach the desk that's right there. There's a chick standing or sitting behind the desk, and there's an old guy who I'm just like, old guy, perfect. This guy's gonna know his shit. The
chick probably knew more.
He's been in this Home Depot 1,000 times on personal shit, and now he works here. He's got me. He knows exactly what I'm gonna fucking say. So I go in, say, hey, excuse me for a second. I'm looking for something. It's called a float switch. It activates a bilge pump when it floats. Thus called a float switch. And the guy just goes, you know what? You should try electrical. And I go, I was over there. It's not in there. And he goes, have you tried plumbing? And I'm like, plumbing's right here. That's where I just came from. So she says, I don't know. I've only worked here for like 30 days. I have no idea, or whatever. I have no idea where anything is. And I'm like, oh, good. Good thing you're behind a desk. So the old guy says, well, why don't you try HVAC? And I'm like, now you're just fucking saying stuff. Now you're just saying departments. So I leave you to your conversation.
Now that you've kind of explored a little bit, I'm kind of thinking it'd probably be like outside garden or garden.
It wasn't.
Really?
So I'm walking around. I'm walking up and down every fucking aisle in Home Depot because I need this thing. It has to get purchased. It needs to go into this mechanism today.
Yeah.
I can't fuck around with it any longer. So I'm getting fucking pissed. I'm getting irritated as hell. My leg is fucking killing me. Then this fucking orange apron having motherfucker comes up to me and goes, hey, anything I can help you find? And I go, Jesus Christ, I fucking hope so. And he goes, oh, okay, well, what are you looking for? And I go, it's called a float switch. And it's designed to activate a bilge pump. So when it floats, it closes the circuit, lets the bilge pump start pumping water out. This thing goes back down. It's not floating anymore. Bilge pump off. He goes, bilge pump, huh? Have you tried plumbing? Motherfucker, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna burn this fucker down. So then I go, yeah, I tried plumbing. He goes, did you try kitchen and bath? I'm like,
sorry, what?
It's not really a kitchen and bath thing. I know what you're thinking, the little ball in the tank. It's not that. And then he goes, have you tried electrical? I go, I'm in electrical. Like,
we're standing in electrical.
We're standing in electrical.
See the lights?
So he's like,
around. Huh.
Yeah.
Weird.
So he's like, maybe try kitchen and bath again. Maybe you missed it. I'm like, I didn't fucking miss it, motherfucker. I've been up and down every one of these aisles. I didn't say that, but I wanted to. So finally, I'm walking down an aisle, and I'm getting to the back of the store, and I'm like, if it's not here, it's nowhere. I've checked every aisle. This is the last possible place it could be.
Yeah.
So normally, this is a marine product. This is something you would put on a boat, or you'd put into a basement.
Or like a pond.
No,
area?
well, yeah, you could put it in a pond. It could, circulate water. Sure, I get it. So I'm heading down this aisle, and it's filled with shower curtain rods. And I'm going, that's it. It's not here. It's false advertising. They don't have it. It says they have 2 in stock. These motherfuckers are lying. I'm about to lose my shit. Finally get to the very end of this aisle, and I'm looking at shower heads. And I go, yeah, it's not here. And then I look down, and it's just below the shower heads. And I'm going, what the fuck are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. You're supposed to be on row 14, bay 5. That's what the internet tells me. That's where you're supposed to be. This is row 19, and you're in bay 21. This doesn't make any goddamn sense. So I go and I purchase it, and I'm very frustrated, as you can tell. So I want to kill every person that has an orange vest.
I can tell you where you went wrong.
Wow.
I ask
Not
questions.
everything on the internet is true. You believe the internet. That was
You
your
know
first
what?
problem.
Well, you know what I think?
It's real funny you say that, and I'll explain later.
I think you just asked all the wrong people. There was one guy there that knew.
I asked. No one knew.
There's one guy.
No.
What about the guys in the front at the checkout area?
I asked all the people.
What about the guy that sweeps the floors? Did you ask him?
Oh, Jiminy.
He currently was not sweeping.
Okay.
He was sleeping because he works nights.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, I asked almost everybody in that fucking place, and I don't know if you need to go through like more training, or
Well, yeah,
they hired just randoms off the street and nobody gives a shit about their job anymore.
I worked there. I can tell you, they don't train you on everything. They're just like, oh, you have a little bit of knowledge about, how lights work? You plug them in? Oh, electrical. That's you.
Yeah, but I mean, even if you're assigned a section, wouldn't you think you'd be in that section a lot?
Oh, you
You'd
painted
think
your
you'd be in
room?
you'd be
put
in
your
that
paint.
section enough that you would go, hey, there's something interesting. I don't know what that does. Maybe I'll commit that to memory.
So back in the day, when I worked there, they had a master electrician and a master plumber.
Yeah,
that
those
worked-
days are way
that
fucking
worked there.
gone.
I'm sure they paid them like a crazy salary. But you could ask these guys anything, and they're like, yeah, I can find that. No problem.
Yeah. I was telling Billy, I practically lived at a fucking Home Depot when I was like 18 through 21. I built my own bed. It didn't look good, but it supported my bed.
But it was bad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
It
could
was
sleep on
bedly.
It was very bedly. Bedlam.
Bedlam in the burbs.
No, so I mean, if anybody stopped me in that store and they were like, "Hey, do you know where this is?" I'd be like, "Yeah, it's aisle, 27, and there's
So
it's
that
on this shelf." It's
that guy
about
was
this
like,
high."
"Hey, do you want to just go check bed and bath or whatever?" Did you go back and punch him?
I wanted to just go up to this old man and just pants him and then push him over.
I was kind of hoping that at some point someone would have been like, have you tried Lowe's?
You know what? I looked at Lowe's online and they didn't have anything remotely close, so I feel I saved myself one headache.
Don't they have a thing where you can order it and pick it up though?
Yeah, but they had it in stock.
So
I bet they couldn't fucking find the thing on the shelf that I found it on.
That's what I'm
to
saying.
bring it up to the
So
front
think
desk for
about
me
it. Like,
to
if
pick
you would
up.
have done that, they would have had a hell of a time. They've been asking each other. They're like, "Where the fuck? This guy wants something so specific. Where the fuck is it?" And they're asking the old guy, and the old guy's like, "I don't know." They're asking you. You know what I mean? And then
Hey guys, have you
and
tried
here's
plumbing?
here's the thing. Here's the thing. You could. Is it an expensive part?
No, it was $25.
Okay. So here's what you could do. You could order that again, and then just walk around the store and watch them panic.
No, you know what I'll do, because there are only two. I'll order the second one, and I'll just hide it like a little bit, just like put it behind something else, and then just sit at the front desk and go, "Hey, have you guys gotten that thing for me yet? It says it's here. I'm here to pick it up."
Yeah, you gotta walk around
And
and,
then
watch
just-
them frantically.
And then just like stand in that row, and just like watch them just going, "Well, it's not up here on the fucking forklift thing they have." They're
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, I don't know. It must have fell behind all these rats." I fucking hate Home Depot now. I
Must
used
have
to
fell
love
behind all
Home
these
Depot.
rats.
Or they'll do the whole, yeah, no, it says that it's here, but it's not loading right. The computer's glitching. I'm
Yeah, it's a
sorry.
computer. The computer's really slow today.
Yeah, so
I don't know,
we'll
it's-
have to place an order for it. It'll be here in
Yeah.
about 2 weeks. Maybe.
Well, they would have to give me an 8-week lead time just to find the fucking thing in the building. I was so
Just one guy in the corner. Guys, I found it.
yeah.
You'll never guess where it was.
He probably died of
Do you-
dehydration.
Do you think that's why they do those resets to find those odds and ends? They're like, what is this blippity bop?
I mean, I was in inventory management. Like I would have to physically count like every single thing in our stores, and that was a bit of a bitch. And a lot of times you're just sitting there going, "Hey, I know we have these. Like I've seen these, so I'm gonna mark them." And then months down the line, you're like, "Hey, I've seen these things a million times. I know they're here." And you just, okay, let's check that off the list. And then one day somebody goes, "Hey, I need that thing. It's in your inventory." And then you go, "Okay, let me go find it." And then you look at it and you're like, "Oh shit, these aren't what I thought they were." Like that happens all the time. Like
Yeah,
inventory
pliers,
control
wrenches.
people, they rely a lot on that repeat shit where they're like, "Oh yeah, we had a box of these and there's 100 in there, so there we go, 100." And then they open the box and it's a quarter of that, and you're just like, "Well, fuck." Now I'm showing up 75 shy, and I gotta take a hit.
You know what? You know how like Home Depot and Lowe's, they do those presentation days where they teach you how to do stuff?
Mm-hmm.
You should go in there and show people how to
class.
do the no weld on aluminum.
Now you're just gonna heat up this aluminum and then you're gonna rub it. You're just gonna rub it back and forth.
Oh.
That lady had a lot of enthusiasm.
She-
I will give her that. But that was the most backwoods bullshit. If you have the opportunity to watch the YouTube video of welding aluminum, what was it called?
It was like
Welding
Aluminum for beginners.
Yeah.
It was like a no weld aluminum.
I like the first part of it. They were saying, "Well, I don't have welding equipment," and she's like, "You don't even need it."
Let me take my gardening gloves.
I was like, "This is all bad, but it's gonna be funny." Sure, I came out with a really shitty weld, but
But she welded it.
That is some backwoods shit. And I guarantee you, if you just took those two pieces of aluminum and just like tried to break them like a graham cracker, they would come apart. Oh god, that was so great.
oh man, you should take that to Home Depot and teach them.
Yeah, just rub it back and forth. As soon as that aluminum gets hot enough, it'll melt. What? The fuck are you building, lady?
730 degrees.
Yeah, 730 degrees. The heat's been off it for a couple minutes now, but I bet it's 730 degrees still. If she wasn't so nice.
I feel like she's kind of doing a public service too.
Yeah, 730 degrees. Yeah. Oh god, that was so great. All right, give us a pause.
So I got an idea that I think is going to solve your little issue with Home Depot. We start the Home Depot Olympics. Just hear me out. Not Olympics, Olympics.
Olympics, got it. Okay.
Okay, so here's what we do. We go online and we order the most obscure things that we can.
Okay.
A certain dollar amount.
Mm-hmm.
All three of us.
Mm-hmm.
Put it on our order. Obscure things that are going to be really hard to find. And then we go to Home Depot. Like, we're just outside of Home Depot. We're just being,
And hide those items?
No, we watch the people search for them.
So the first things first is
I mean,
float switch.
If you want to hide them, that's a whole nother level.
I think if we go and... Okay, let's say you place an order at noon.
Yeah.
Somebody else needs to be in the aisle where that is.
Yeah.
Like, you need to find it first.
Sure.
Like, I'll find something that...
Just put it in your cart.
That is like... No, I'll find something that's like...
Sir, can I have that, please?
a stock item. It's like a par level of like 2.
Okay.
Which is very, very low for a store like Home Depot. Usually they have like 500 of these or 500 of those. So we'll find something that has a level of like 2 because it's super rare. Nobody ever buys it. I'll put one in my cart and I'll just pretend I'm like looking around for shit.
Yeah.
And then I'll hide the other one somewhere else. Just like another shelf. Not too far from where it would normally go, but enough where somebody would go, "Oh my god, we don't have that." And then I'll just like have the cart right by where the thing normally is, and we'll take bets on if the employee takes it out of my cart or not.
I like that little twist. I think we should put and so if you're moving it, move it in plain sight though. Like, it's not very far away.
It has to be on the shelf visible, but it has to be somewhere out of its normal home.
Like the same bay or something.
Yeah.
And then but instead of being on the bottom, like it's on the top right or something.
Yeah. If it's bottom left, then move it to the top middle or something.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what?
I think we're bad people.
I think all people are bad people. If you give them enough time and it has entertainment value, then
then
we're all
here's the best part. We return it all.
As soon as you get there, you go, "Yeah, I'm here to pick that up," and then
this is the wrong size.
You go, "Oh shit, it's DC instead of AC. I can't even use this," and just return it on site. And then you just watch the person who tagged it. I think this is a 3-man job because the third guy has to watch that employee while after they drop it off to you, and you go, "Oh shit, I can't even use this. This isn't the right size." Then the third guy follows that employee that just dropped it off and watch them have a fucking meltdown.
They have to return to the shelf.
Home Depot, I'm coming for you.
Home Depot Olympics.
Can we do this tomorrow?
You guys have problems.
Like, I know they're closed right now, but can we do this tomorrow?
We're pretty deranged. We can go lower though.
I know.
We can go a lot lower.
There is no bar low enough for me to stoop at this point. I was fucking steaming when I got out of there. So mad. Hobbling back to my car. Motherfuckers. Oh my god, I parked over by like Garden, and I didn't realize until I got inside that all the registers were on the opposite end of the store. So I went to the Garden Center to see if I could check out over there. Nobody there. It's like, where are we on a fucking skeleton crew? It's middle of the day on a Friday.
Well, who's going to Home Depot on a Friday? Like
me, motherfucker.
Yeah.
That parking lot was full.
I gotta get my drinks. I gotta get ready for this party. Right? On a Friday? It's not the same.
You know, your attitude really makes me regret getting that party-sized bag of ice. It says on the package, party ice.
You know,
It's a 20-pound bag.
why didn't you get one of those little scooters?
I don't think they have them at Home Depot.
Don't
It's
they?
not
The little-
Walmart.
Yeah, I think that's
Oh.
that's strictly Walmart or
Okay.
like a grocery store, where you have the basket on the front.
Yeah, and the pole where you can't go out the door.
I told that's a pole on it. I told Ash, I go, since you did this to my leg, I'm gonna get one of those scooters and see if they'll give it to me, because I mean I can walk under my own power, but it fucking hurts. So how great would that be if I'm just hitting her in the ankles every few aisles?
And when the batteries go out, just make her carry you on her back.
Just make her push it.
That's so
I just keep turning it into shelves.
Wow.
Yeah, we're fucking evil.
Yep.
Not as evil as
Speaking of evil,
okay, so Billy and I took a Uber weeks and weeks and weeks back, and our driver was a Reformed Mormon. I don't
Oh.
know if I told you about this or not.
What does that mean?
They're no longer Mormon.
Oh, so like excommunicated and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Sure. Okay.
they realized that it was a little culty, and they decided, okay, this isn't for us. So
Okay.
she was telling us that the reason that she left the Mormon Church
Mhm.
is because what's his name? No, John Smith was from
Brigham
Pocahontas.
Young.
Joseph, was it Joseph?
Joseph Smith.
Joseph Smith was the founder of Mormonism. He wrote the Book of Mormon off some gold plates that he found in upstate New York, where
Okay. Yeah, I'm
Apparently-
following you. Yeah.
apparently Jesus was really from.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't have any problems with that, by the way.
No, I'm following you.
Jesus was a white guy.
I'm
by
listening
the
to
way.
your
Mm-hmm.
listening to your
um,
story. Continue.
So anyway, she tells us that the story that got her to leave the church was that the second guy that took over after Joseph Smith was killed by a mob.
As one does.
For no
Yeah.
reason, obviously.
Okay.
He was killed by a mob, and this guy Brigham Young kind of took.
Is that his real name?
Yeah, that was his real name.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like the perfect like
Well, there's
pedo name.
Yeah, pedo. Yeah. He had 55.
Brigham Young.
I think he had 55 wives when he died,
Oh wow.
which is like, come on, save some for us, man. Like, Jesus.
I mean, does no one else see that his name is just like wildly inappropriate?
Yeah. Well, it's not Brigham Young, which I kind of thought it was.
I did too.
I
That's
did
what you
for
said.
the longest time. No, it's Brigham.
Oh, Okay, that makes it a little better.
I thought it was.
I thought it was Brigham Young, and I'm
I
like,
did
oh
too.
my gosh, this is just waiting
for
for.
the longest time.
Where's
I thought,
Chris Hansen at?
I thought Brigham Young University was how you'd say that.
I did
but it's
too.
not.
I did too.
He's at the DMV asking for a name change.
I'm learning today.
So anyway, so she said that when Brigham Young was old and he already had like a bunch of wives, he met this girl who was like, I think she was 24, and he said,
Ooh,
"Hey,
too old.
yeah, I know,
He likes him young, right? Yeah, you get it.
yeah, no, I get it." So he meets this girl. She's 24, and he says, "Hey,
You're geriatric.
you wanna marry me?" And she was like, "Oh no, I'm already engaged." And then the fiance comes on the scene, and he's like, "Hey buddy, let me marry your fiance, and I'll give you all these rewards, like these afterlife rewards."
Hey, that girl you're about to marry?
Stuff like that.
Mine.
So
Like what mentality is that?
when the
Give her
guy,
to me.
when the guy refused,
I imagine this guy is Cotton from King of the Hill. Cotton from King of the Hill.
Cotton.
Yeah, Cotton's
Got his shins
Hank's dad.
blown off in Nam.
He's who?
He got his shins blown off.
Hank's
Oh,
dad.
no. Oh, God, yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ, I haven't seen that movie in so many years.
You're Laotian, ain't you, Mr. Khan?
Fucking anyway.
Give me a women.
So this Uber driver, this lady's telling us
Sorry.
the story, and she says, well, after the guy, the chick's fiance, refused like so many times,
Uh-huh.
Brigham Young castrated the guy
Oh.
and nailed his like sack and shaft to the side of the church. Well, I spent like, I don't know, a couple days trying to figure out if the story was true or false.
Well, isn't castration where they just cut the balls off though? Because if you cut everything off, then what's going on? They're just bleeding to death, right?
Well, the real story is pretty fucking bad.
Oh, okay. Continue then.
It's,
Sorry.
It wasn't Brigham Young. It was another guy from the church. I forget his name. Fuck, I don't even remember his name, but he was a bishop. And he was old. He was in his 60s, I think. And he says, hey, guy, I want to marry your fiance. And then the guy goes, no, I don't think so. We're already engaged. Like, go away. So then the bishop invites him on like a mission or a retreat or something like that.
That sounds sketchy.
And in the Church of Latter-day Saints, Mormonism, if an elder, like a senior member of the church, invites you on a mission or a retreat or whatever the fuck they call it, and you refuse, then like serious consequences come down on you.
Okay.
So this guy, this 24-year-old guy, was accused of some obscure, they don't really say what it was, but he's accused of some type of sex crime.
Huh.
Nobody has any idea what exactly it was. From what I've read, what I've tried to research, nobody knows what it was. So one night, this guy is being taken to jail, basically, and he's got an escort, and they're both on horses.
Okay.
And they're going, and normally you don't transport prisoners at nighttime. Well, they get to a creek, and this bishop and a bunch of other guys, just come out of the woodwork, and they take this guy off his horse.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of beat him a little bit into submission, and then they castrate him. And this was like, I forget what month it was, but it was like one of those cold months. And
Winter. I think it's winter you're looking for. You just say it's winter.
I could say it's winter, but it might not have been winter. I think it was just before spring. So
which is also technically winter.
Technically, it could be winter, but it could be like the first day of spring. So
I'm thinking here that when you say
eat
it's
this guy's castrated balls.
When you say it's cold out, I'm thinking like, oh well, that's the excuse the guy gives before he gets castrated. It's cold out, guys. I'm sorry.
That might have happened.
No, he tried to turtle it.
Yeah.
He tried to turtle it because it was cold.
So anyway, this dude gets castrated.
Can't catch it.
And they.
Can you imagine? Oh, going inside now.
Oh, it's out. Oh, no, back in.
Anyway, they leave this guy.
They're just as mad as James at Home Depot.
I don't. If I got castrated, I don't think I'd even be that mad as I was at fucking Home Depot. So they castrate the guy and they just leave him, and he's there for like 2 days.
Oh, that sucks.
And then
the whole thing sucks.
Yeah, the whole thing kind of sucks, but they leave him there, and finally somebody like passes by, and they're like, "Hey, are you okay?"
He's like, "No, I'm bleeding out."
He's like, "No, like, can't you see what happened?" And
there's
like,
blood everywhere.
They're like, "Whoa."
My balls are gone.
I'm scared to pee. I don't know where it's gonna come out.
So they kind of nurse this guy back to health, and he winds up recovering. Over time he recovers, but he's like driven fucking insane. Like he loses his shit. He becomes like the town whatever, like psycho. And the fucking bishop marries that girl, his fiance. So, yeah, the story's kind of true. And
Wait, kind of true. I thought you were telling me a true story.
no, that's the true part of it is that
It
this
just
guy
wasn't
got
Brigham Young.
castrated for his fiance,
Okay.
basically, but it wasn't Brigham Young.
Oh, okay. That's the detail.
Later, Brigham Young writes the bishop and he says, "Listen, just leave it alone. It'll all blow over." That's essentially what this letter says to this guy. He goes, "If you don't say anything, everyone will forget. The masses will forget over time." And that's what happened. So that was what I did. I printed out hundreds of pages of shit on Mormonism, the LDS Church,
Sure.
this story, Brigham Young, which Brigham Young was no saint. Like, they're not supposed to drink. He had a distillery in Salt Lake City, and he drank a lot. He drank tea, which is apparently like a big no-no for them too.
I don't think they're allowed to have like caffeine or.
They're not allowed to have
stimulants
caffeine or alcohol or all this stuff. But he also was like a womanizer. He smoked cigars. One of the funny stories that I read about him was when this is when Mark Twain was like really big, like The Adventures of
Huckleberry?
I can't get that fucking word out of my mouth. Huckleberry Finn.
So just put twang on it. You got it.
I got Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer. So anyway, this is
which one was the asshole, by the way? One of them was a real shithead, though.
They're both kind of assholes. Anyway, so this is after all that came out, and he was world famous. So Mark Twain and his brother go to visit Utah, and they go to talk to Brigham Young, and the entire time Mark Twain's there, he's asking Brigham Young these questions, and Brigham Young's not making eye contact with them. He's not, directly answering any of his questions. He chooses to talk to Twain's brother, and at the end of their meeting, he says to Mark Twain's brother, he kind of stands behind Mark Twain and he puts his hands on his shoulders while he's seated, which is like super fucking creepy. And he says to his brother, he goes, this is a wonderful young individual. What is it, a boy or a girl? Which is like the ultimate fucking insult to basically George Clooney of the time. And I just could not stop laughing. I was like, that's kind of funny. That's a little funny for like this guy who's supposed to be an uptight prick. He makes that little joke to like the biggest superstar of the time. It's a little funny. But he's also a giant prick, so you can't laugh too much at it. So that's Brigham Young and the castration of
I can see that, like old timey humor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely
a little dry, right?
Yeah, yeah, I get it. It's funny, like
haha.
Funny, like everyone knows Mark Twain,
but not like funny weird.
Oh no, it's funny weird. And a little funny haha.
Yeah, a little funny haha. But that's not what we're going to talk about tonight. Even though we just talked about it.
Well, what are we wasting our time on?
I know. Seriously.
Throw it out.
I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew I spent a lot of time on something I can't even really get into.
I just want you guys to know I spent a lot of time researching castration. Why? You say you're such a sick puppy, man.
I really am. Okay, so we're going to talk about two guys tonight.
2 guys, 1 cup.
Well, we're going to talk about 2 guys specifically. Where would you even find 2 guys with 1 cup? Type that in.
No.
I don't. The FBI's like, hey, you need to cool it down.
Listen, tap the brakes on this shit.
Yeah. I think I'm like one search and they're like, hey.
Like, if you watch this, I have to watch
come
this,
talk to
and
you.
I don't want to watch this.
It's so weird. My internet speed is usually really fast, but it's super slow tonight.
I have Google Fiber.
Okay, so we're going to talk about...
I hit the button and it said screen mirroring, and it's another screen that I've never seen before.
No, don't stop.
We're going to talk about 2 guys. One is a retired police detective from
Okay.
Great Falls, Montana.
Sounds like a fantastic place to live.
He retired as a sergeant of detectives,
Okay.
working cold cases.
Interesting.
His
Very
name,
interesting.
yeah, super interesting
Yeah.
so far.
What's his name?
It gets worse. His
God
name
damn.
is John Cameron. John A. Cameron.
Okay.
The other guy we're going to talk about, his name is Edward Wayne Edwards.
So he has like the same name twice.
He's got 3 first names.
Oh yeah, he does have 3 first names.
Are you familiar with how I feel about people with 2 first names, let alone 3 first names?
Let us know.
Christ Almighty. Okay, so Edward Wayne Edwards. He was born in
EWE.
EWE. Ew. Yeah, that's what I
Ew.
have on my file right here. Ew.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
So he was born in Akron, Ohio, June 14th, 1933. If I'm not mistaken, there's a superstar basketball player that was born there. Maybe we can look that up.
In Akron, Ohio?
Yeah, wasn't LeBron born in Akron?
In
Oh.
1932.
Not in 1933, but he was born in Akron, I think.
Yeah, I think that's right.
That just popped into my little,
I think you were
my
just
little
talking
bird
about
brain.
that the other.
I'm
the other
looking
day.
it up. You guys just chitter chatter amongst yourself for a second.
I don't know how LeBron's going to play into this.
Did you say LeBronc? Is that Gronk and LeBron put together?
LeBronky Punch, yes. That's my fantasy basketball league name.
Is it really?
No.
I actually like my fantasy fantasy football name this year.
What do you got?
What is it?
Pat Mahorny Spot.
Pat Mahorny Spot. Jesus Christ, that is gold.
Thank you.
I got Catalina wine mixing.
I like that.
It's a little play on the
Yeah.
on the name there.
We have to do the Catalina wine mixer.
I mean, it's only the biggest copter leasing and rental on the Western Seaboard.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron James, born December 30th, 1984. Age 34 currently. Akron, Ohio. That's a really fucking weird tie-in to the story, but that has nothing to do
Well,
with
you just kept going until there was nothing left. So
yeah, I know. I kind of kicked this horse until he started kicking back. So anyway, Edward Wayne Edwards, who, again,
you
first name, last name, still a first name.
Did he go by anything other than Wayne or Edward?
He went by Edward his entire life.
First name or last name?
Doesn't matter. Pick one. It's like if I was named James, whatever, James, you'd be sitting there going, you're a serial killer, for sure. You kill people.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
when he was 5, his mom, Lillian Cecilia Myers,
Mhm.
was shot in the stomach, and she died from septicemia.
It sounds like an infection.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm no doctor.
She died August 8th.
No.
So
You're
she
a rocket
was,
scientist.
she was shot August 2nd. She died August 8th.
But I dabble in
Okay.
rocket science.
So the reason I'm bringing up Edward Wayne Edwards and I'm bringing up John A. Cameron is because John A. Cameron, he wrote a book. And this
Good for
book-
him.
Give him a
Look at
good pat in the back.
Look at his face. He's so mad right now.
This book was published in 2014, and it's called It's Me, Edward Wayne Edwards, the Serial Killer You Never Heard of. Now, I'm not going to go into his entire history, but
It's a lot.
I'm just going to tell you about
I don't know anything about the guy.
kind of the important things that...
I read some of it earlier today, and let me tell you, It's extensive.
So let me
Lay it on me then.
throw this out real quick.
All right.
Um,
If I don't like it, can I just throw it right back?
sure, toss it back. Edward or Edwards, whichever you want.
Oh,
You
let's
feel
go with
better
Eddie.
I mean, let's drop the brevity thing here.
Let's just go with Eddie.
He is known to have killed 5 people.
Okay.
2 in Ohio, 2 in Wisconsin, and 2 in Ohio in 1977, 2 in Wisconsin in 1980, and then his final victim was back in Ohio in 1996. So we know that
he's got some cooldown periods. This guy.
77 to 80 to 96. I mean,
Yeah.
that's 3 years between the first and 16 years between.
That's
the
what I'm
second
saying.
and
Like,
third. Yeah. He's got that cooling off period, but he confessed to 5 murders.
Okay.
He didn't confess to anything else, murder related, but this guy John A. Cameron, as a cold case investigator, wrote this book in 2014 about Edward Wayne Edwards, and this is basically what the book says he did.
Okay.
Starts off a little slow, so
Let me just get my listening
get
juice.
your listening juice. There you go. June 5th, 1945, Chicago, Illinois. Yeah, I said it.
You don't have to say the ass.
Edwards murders Josephine Ross. Now, if he was born in 33, in 1945, how old is he?
Like
12.
Oh yeah.
Okay. December 11th, 1945, Chicago. He murders Frances Brown.
Okay.
January 6th, 1946, Chicago, Illinois. He murders Suzanne. Now, I heard this said a couple ways. It's Suzanne. It's either Denon or Degnan, which I don't know which one is right.
How is it spelled?
Degnan.
Degnan.
Okay. Edwards was 12. Suzanne was 6.
Wait a second. He's 12, so he's murdering children.
This one is a child, yes.
Oh.
The other was not.
January 1947. He murders Elizabeth Short. She was aged 22
Oh. Okay.
in Los Angeles, California.
So he's moving.
Edwards was 13.
Where is this kid? How does this kid move around the country?
The power of will.
July 4th, 1954. Edwards murders Marilyn Reese Shepard in Cleveland, Ohio. Her husband, Dr. Sam Shepard, is wrongly convicted after a sensational trial. March 9th, 1955, Edwards is arrested for burglary.
Okay.
Keep in mind, he's still pretty fucking young.
Well, yeah, what is he, like 20 now?
Yeah, he's 20. What is he? 22.
Yeah.
March 9th, 1955, he's arrested for burglary. April 7th, 1955, he breaks out of Akron jail while being held on burglary charges.
Okay. Well, okay.
Mhm.
So he's good at what he does.
April 28th, 1955, Stephanie Bryan last seen San Francisco, California. Her body is found 2 weeks later. Burton Abbott is convicted and executed in March 1957 after the governor's last-minute stay reached the warden too late.
So he killed somebody and then this other person died.
Someone else took the fall.
Okay.
October 1955, Edwards murders 17-year-old wife Verna.
So 17-year-old wife. His wife?
His wife.
His wife.
Okay.
17-year-old.
1956.
I mean, the guy's not off to a good start.
1956, Edwards is caught in Montana after a series of armed robberies, sentenced to penitentiary in Deer Lodge. July 1959, Edwards is released in Montana, taken to Portland to stand trial for 2 armed robberies from 1956.
Okay.
He's sentenced to 5 years of probation.
That's a slap on the wrist right there.
1960, Edwards broke out of jail in Portland.
I'm sensing a pattern here.
November 10th, 1961, Edwards is added to the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives list.
Really?
January 22nd, 1962, Edwards is captured at an apartment in Atlanta, Georgia, with his wife Marlene Harmon. May 18th, 1962, Edwards is sentenced to 16 years in Leavenworth.
This guy's all over the place. Have you noticed that? He's like, boom, 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 I'm everywhere.
1967, Edwards is transferred to Lewisburg Federal Penitentiary in Pennsylvania, and he's paroled from federal prison.
Okay.
So he served 5 of 16.
I mean, not great.
June 25th, 1968, Richard Robison, his wife Shirley Robison, and their 4 children are murdered in their Lake Michigan cottage just north of Good Heart, Michigan.
Here we go. This is where it gets dark. I mean, it's been dark, but you're getting...
July 20th, 1968, Edwards marries Kay Hedderly in Akron, Ohio, home of LeBron James. December 20th, 1968, the first Zodiac killing happens in Northern California. July 4th, 1969, second confirmed Zodiac killing. September 27th, 1969, third confirmed Zodiac killing. Survivor says he was in Deer Lodge Prison, Montana. Says that the killer was. October 11th, 1969, last confirmed Zodiac killing, Paul Lee Stein. February 4th, 1972, Maureen, Lewis Sterling and Yvonne Lisa Weber, both age 12, are murdered. The first of the Highway 101 murders, also known as the Santa Rosa Hitchhiker murders.
So I just want you to think about this for a second. We're probably up to about maybe 20 people. But at this point,
Well, yeah, he said 5, and then as he started going, I'm like, that's a lot more than 5.
August 1st, 1973, a Zodiac letter is sent from New York. Edwards was in New York in 1973 promoting his book on a TV show, Dialing for Dollars, with host Lee Leonard.
coincidence? Maybe.
October 31st, 1975, Martha Moxley is found murdered. February 16th, 1976, the first of the Oakland child murders in Michigan.
Is he the Zodiac or is he the Oakland? Maybe both.
In August 8th, 1977, Edwards murders Billy Lavaco and Judy Straub in Ohio. Those 2 murders are confirmed.
Everything else is not confirmed.
August 30th, 1979, 3 die after a fire in Pennsylvania.
He's if this is all him, he's a machine.
August 9th, 1980, Edwards murders Tim Hack and Kelly Drew in Wisconsin. These 2 murders are confirmed.
That's 2 out of his 5 that are confirmed. Oh, I'm sorry, that's 4 out of his 5
5.
that are confirmed.
July 27th, 1981, Edwards abducts and murders 6-year-old Adam Walsh. His father, John Walsh, later becomes an advocate for victims of violent crimes and host of the television program America's Most Wanted.
No shit, I thought we were talking about Otis Toole doing that.
No, Otis Toole was the killer cop convinced or tried to write a letter on behalf of Otis Toole telling John Walsh that Otis Toole killed his son.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, so
These guys all run in the same circle.
Sounds like it. Jeez, they know each other. They're like, yeah, let's talk about it.
February 27th, 1982, Wayne Williams is convicted of killing 2 men and blamed for the Atlanta child murders.
Okay.
December 1982, Edwards is incarcerated in Pennsylvania prison for arson. The previous arson that 3 people may have died. July 1986, Edwards is released from Pennsylvania prison.
Pennsylvania Penitentiary.
So that's 4 years for arson, by the way.
I felt like he should have been spitting when he said that. Pennsylvania Penitentiary.
October 12th, 1986. First Colonial Parkway double murder. September 2nd, 1987. Let's see. That was another Colonial Parkway double
So we're
murder.
alive now.
Mm-hmm.
October 12th, 1989. The last Colonial Parkway double murders. That's 6 right there. And
You
What,
rattled off a
3
lot
years?
of numbers there. A lot of names, a lot of numbers.
May 5th, 1993, Arkansas. West Memphis 3 murder.
He's got a lot of monikers.
March and April 1996, Burton, Ohio. Edwards murders Danny Boy Edwards. That's one of his foster kids.
Oh,
This is
Danny boy.
That is his last confirmed kill, by the way.
That's 5.
December 25th, 1996, Boulder, Colorado. Edwards murders John Benet Ramsey.
Sorry, what? That was like a huge case.
Oh, what? Oh, was it? What's that?
But
It was like all over the news media.
this is the guy.
January 9th, 2000, Michael Skakel, arrested for 1975 murder of Martha Moxley, later convicted but granted new trial in 2013 and released on bail. May 1st, 2001, Chandra Levy disappears from her apartment in Washington, D.C. Do you guys remember that story?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. May 6th, Chandra Levy's parents call Modesto, California, saying they couldn't find her, couldn't contact her. November 1st, 2001, Kent Heitholt, I think that's how you say his name, found murdered in Columbus, Missouri. May 22nd, 2002, Chandra Levy's body is found. A guy named Ingmar Juan? How do you say that? You're Latin. Second one.
Ingmar?
Sure.
1DK?
Sure. Sounds perfect.
I felt like that was a struggle.
December 24th, 2002, Lacey Peterson, heavily pregnant, disappears from home in Modesto,
Really?
California.
Yes, I remember this one.
April 13th, 14th, 2003, body of Lacey Peterson's son, Connor, is found. Lacey's body is found the next day.
Yeah.
Lacey's husband, Scott Peterson, is arrested, convicted of murder, and sentenced to death.
Okay.
October 31st, 2005. Murders Teresa Holmbach in Wisconsin, then frames Stephen Avery.
Wait a second.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, this is making a murderer.
Mm-hmm.
March 31st, 2008. Edward kidnaps, murders Robert Wiles. Body was never found. June 14th, 2008. Megan Lynn Tuma, I think that's how you say it, 7 months pregnant, is murdered at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. July 27th.
Wait a second.
Hang on.
Okay.
July 27th, 2008, Washington, D.C., Dr. Bruce Ivins supposedly kills himself with Tylenol.
Supposedly.
Supposedly.
Tylenol? Okay.
May 5th, 2009, Sherry Coleman, 32, and her sons Garrett, who is 11, and Gavin, 9, are found strangled in their Columbia home. On May 6, 2011, Christopher Coleman is convicted of their murder. July 30th, 2009, Edwards
we're
is
getting
arrested.
Pretty close.
He later confessed to the murder of Billy Lavaco and Judy Straub and Danny Boy Edwards, which is his foster son's name, but with the last name changed to Edwards. March 11th, 2011, Edwards sentenced to death by a three-judge panel for the 1996 murder of his last victim, Danny Boy Edwards, who was 25, the foster child who regarded Edwards as family. April 7th, 2011, Edwards dies in prison in Columbus, Ohio. So, I want to ask you if you think one human being is capable of this many murders in a lifespan, or if you think this fucking cold case investigator needed this to be true so he could fill in the blanks on a lot of old unsolved crimes.
I think both are possible, for sure. I think that if the bloodlust was enough, then yeah, he's killing people like he's killed people like once a month. This guy, one person a month on average, and if he comes across 4 people, then he has a cool off. But I think that the cold case investigator, I feel, has more to gain.
He's got more of a hard-on to make this true.
Yeah.
Than this guy would have a hard-on killing people over.
He certainly could have killed
80 years.
all of these people, but it would have been. There's different styles. There's different, MO.
There's different modus operandi.
Yeah.
There's different styles.
Yeah.
They don't progress. They change way too much. Either this is the most successful serial killer in all of history, because if you're looking at how many victims this guy has, he should have, by sheer coincidence, someone would have watched him murder one of these people 3 feet away from him and been able to give everyone a description of this guy, his height, his build, the car he drove, everything. Because this is a long fucking list. This gives me chills if it's true.
I mean, the thing with the MOs is if this is all true, he'll keep an MO for a while, change up out of nowhere, keep that MO for a while, or just dump it.
We're talking about the most evilest genius in the... He's like a supervillain, if it's true.
This is Dr. Evil if he really killed people. Like, this is someone who...
Picture the Joker times 10.
Imagine somebody who could go between state lines, even though he was under investigation or he was on probation for numerous different types of crimes, burglary, robbery, which sound like the same thing, but they're not. Arson. You don't put this fucker on a list. Like, he's not a person of interest anywhere he goes.
Well, he was in America's top 10, wasn't he?
He was on FBI.
You said America's top 10?
Yeah, like it's a hit single.
I was
My bad.
he was on Billboard's top 10.
There's Edward Wayne Edwards with
Edward Wayne Edwards.
I love the way you look, baby.
Now I'm gonna stab you.
With I'm gonna kill you. And we'll be right back.
I love this new single. It's just really catchy.
So we've talked about, Killer Cop. He was suspected of, a few other murders across state lines, and obviously, back then cops across state, even just county lines didn't talk to each other.
Here's the thing that gets me though. Like, if this guy, if he knows that he's going down, he knows he's going to be executed. Why wouldn't he admit to all of the murders that he did?
Exactly.
He has nothing to lose, right?
He absolutely has nothing to lose.
Actually, if he admitted to more murders, he would actually be alive longer.
Yeah, he would keep...
Because he'd have to go to trials.
That's what Ted Bundy tried to do. He tried to extend his life by saying, hey, I know where more bodies are. I can tell you more. There was a last-ditch effort to, save his own ass.
Yeah.
Just a few months, few years.
So that's what makes me think, like, if this guy's a serial killer and he's high profile, right? Well, let's say he is a serial killer. Let's say those 5 people definitely grant him he's a serial killer, right? But the Zodiac Killer is such a huge name, and why wouldn't you want to claim that? You'd be like, yeah, I'm the Zodiac,
I found out today that the Zodiac has not been caught yet.
I really think that Cameron is trying to force the jigsaw puzzles in. He's trying to bang on the table so they fit.
They did a
DNA.
Speaking about that, they did a DNA. Did we ever find out the results?
Talked about that.
What were the results?
I forget what was his name. Lee? Is that what his name?
What?
I don't think it was definitive, but that guy, forget his fucking name. His name was Lee something. Anyway, that was the most likely suspect, and the DNA didn't match him. But that guy died, like, immediately after Zodiac stopped killing people. Like, it was pretty, like, if you take the facts of, when this was happening, and then you take this guy who, he kind of ticked all the boxes, and then he died, and nothing else happened.
Are you talking about the guy that was actually a surgeon?
No, he was like, I forget what he was. He was like some type of menial labor. He was like, he worked in a shop of some sort. I forget his name, but it was Lee something. So this guy Cameron, he, I truly believe he's trying to, like, mash the puzzle pieces into place because, he was a cold case investigator for so long that it's like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, he began in 1979 and then he retired in 2005. So he's got almost 3 decades worth of cold cases that he's got to resolve some way. But he's been on Coast to Coast AM. I don't know if you know what that is.
No, I don't. What is it?
So Coast to Coast AM is hosted by.
Why is that funny?
Just give it a second.
This is the bio of George Norrie, the host of Coast to Coast AM.
Okay.
It says this is directly off their webpage, by the way.
Why are you saying it like that?
George Norrie, host of the nationally syndicated program Coast to Coast AM, says if he weren't a national radio talk show host, you'd be in politics.
Okay.
Heard by millions of listeners, Coast to Coast AM airs on nearly 620 stations in the U.S., Canada, Mexico, and Guam.
Okay.
While hosting The Nighthawk, a wildly successful late-night program on KTRS in St. Louis.
The Nighthawk.
Norrie, not George Norris, Chuck Norris's brother. Norrie was recruited by Premier Radio Networks to guest host on Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell. Art Bell is now dead.
Oh yeah, I know Art Bell.
He became the permanent host of the phenomenally successful overnight program on January 1st, 2003, following Bell's retirement. Since then, Norrie's audience has continued to grow. Okay. Would you like to hear what they talk about on Coast to Coast?
Sure. I have no idea what it is.
How could you not, given that millions of listeners and the numbers are still growing?
I know Art Bell. He did some interesting out there wild things.
So Norrie captivates program listeners with his discussions of paranormal phenomena, time travel, alien abductions, conspiracies, and all things curious and unexplained. He is driven, he has said, by the desire to solve the great mysteries of our time. From his first days as a radio broadcaster, he says, I've wanted to cover stories that the mainstream media never touch. The unusual, the paranormal, the things like that. I learned that broadcast was the best business for exploring these issues, and I've been doing it for 33 years. Now, does that sound like... I've actually listened to George Norrie, and he's an okay dude. I don't think he's batshit crazy, but that sounds like he wrote that, that whole thing.
Coast to Coast.
Another person.
That's a lot of pages. I'm nervous about that one.
Another person that has been on Coast to Coast is Stanton Friedman. Anybody know who that is?
Mm-mm.
No.
Stanton Friedman, he was a nuclear physicist.
Okay. I dabble in...
Shut up. Shut up.
different rocket technologies and energies and
Yeah,
things.
we know all about that. He is also I don't know if I'm gonna say this right, but he is an ufologist.
What is that?
It's the study of flying saucers.
Okay, we just took a hard right.
He has written books. Would you like?
Why'd you shuffle through those pages so quick?
Because I don't want to talk about his like early life or anything. This is
Okay.
straight off of Wikipedia.
All right, yeah, okay.
His books, 320-page book called Flying Saucers and Science.
Okay, logical. Yeah, I see that.
Another book, Captured, the Betty and Barney Hill UFO Experience.
Okay, seems like a first-hand account of a
Do
UFO
you know-
abduction.
Do you know who Betty and Barney Betty and Barney Hill are?
You said rubble at first. I know them. That's the Flintstones friends, right?
The reason this story about Betty and Barney Hill is they went to I don't know exactly how to describe it, but it was basically a UFO like convention
Okay.
in the I think 70s,
Mm-hmm.
and they were an interracial couple. Barney was black, Betty was white.
Okay.
Or maybe it was the other way around. I can't remember.
Well, you have a 50-50 shot at this.
In the 70s, this was frowned upon. You know, very racist country we live in.
Still.
Yeah. They went to this conference or convention or whatever the fuck it is,
Uh-huh.
and they were driving, and they saw a big light or something like that, and they lost time. So after like years of hypnosis and things like that, they start to remember that they were abducted by aliens, and the aliens kind of like harvested Betty's eggs, and they extracted Barney's semen.
Wait, so this guy's getting jerked off in a UFO?
Pretty much.
Okay. I just want to make sure that I'm following you.
I don't want to say anything bad about Betty and Barney because they could have been abducted by aliens. I'm not ruling that out. But at the same time, they were at a fucking UFO convention, and the least likely people to find aliens are people that go to UFO conventions.
So I'm thinking somebody got roofied.
I kind of landed on that too. And them being an interracial couple, they probably got roofied and like molested by other UFO people.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean they have all the garb, so
Yeah, all the garb. So that's what I think kind of happened, like a little bit. Another book was called The Crash at Corona, the definitive story of the Roswell incident. Another one was Science Was Wrong, startling truths about cures, theories, and inventions. They, in quotations, they is, boom.
okay.
They declared impossible. So that's the type of mind
They're catchy titles. Like you'd want to read a little bit about them.
Yeah, you would, but at the same time, you'd be like, you'd take it with a little bit of, grain of salt and say, yeah, this guy's kind of fucking nuts. So those are the people that show up on George Norrie's
Coast to
Coast
Coast.
to Coast,
AM.
along with
Gotcha.
John Cameron, who believes that the most prolific serial killer in all of time was this dumpy fat fuck named Edward Wayne Edwards. Now, some of these are explained because he confessed to 5. And yeah, I believe that. I believe that he confessed to all the murders that he actually did. But if you believe that he killed, I don't even know the number because I haven't taken the time to actually tally all this. But it's like
It's
100 fucking people
It's a lot, yeah.
over 80 years.
80 years? God, what was he started killing people when he was 2?
he started killing. Where he apparently
Allegedly.
allegedly started killing people when he was like 11.
Yeah, but how old did he live to be?
He lived till 33 to 2011, so that's 70, 80. That's 78 years.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he was killing people in the womb.
Yeah, if
Pretty
you
much.
if
You
you
said 8
average it
years.
out, he's got 1.5 or 1.25 per year. That's fucking crazy. If this guy did this, holy shit, pull that guy's brain because we need to analyze it. For that matter, pull Cameron's brain if he thinks this guy did this. And the whole reason that I brought this up
Mhm.
was because John Cameron has a podcast.
Oh.
It's a new podcast. Started in July of this year.
This month?
Yeah, this month. It's called Cold Case Cameron.
Okay.
And like the lady who likes to weld aluminum by heating it up and rubbing it together,
That was the best.
I love his enthusiasm. Just, this is some backwater shit. Like, this can't be true. There's no fucking way this is true.
Is he trying to play, 7 Steps to Kevin Bacon or whatever it's called with these people?
No, you just, you know what? You just gotta rub it together.
You just heat it up, rub it together. It'll melt. It'll melt. No, so I thought this was very interesting. I wanted to get your input on it, and you gave me a ton of input, and I hope that if anybody listens to his podcast, you don't take it too seriously. You take it a little bit more as entertainment than fact, because God knows in this day and age, you can't believe everything you hear, except for me, because I'm James. I don't know if you know that or not.
And James, I want to touch base on that again real quick here. You can't believe everything you read, nor can you believe everything that's on the internet when it tells you that a certain item is in a certain store when it
In a certain place.
and that's me, Billy, giving you that advice there, James.
I really think your therapy would be the Home Depot Olympics. I really think we should lead with that.
You'll
Because
feel better afterwards.
How much satisfaction would you have? We're all three in the store. We got cameras and shit, and then we're just watching people scramble. They're like, "Hey, old man, where is this? You've been working here forever."
I really hope the owner of Homer Depot, I hope he's listening and he puts cameras in and catches us doing this.
Oh, there's cameras
Because
everywhere.
I want it to go viral. I want
There's
it to be
cameras
one of those,
everywhere.
look at what these fucking guys did. They ruined my business. They torpedoed Home Depot.
I don't know why you're so mad about Home Depot. It's one location, right?
I'll fucking kill you.
I'm just saying. There's, maybe there's a
This
A
might be
little-
the most
little.
edit-heavy episode of anything we've ever recorded.
Maybe there's a little, silver lining somewhere.
That is the death stare. And with that, I'm Billy.
I'm James.
I'm Chaz.
And this is Hot Sauced.
If you can fight your way through the slow part of this episode just to get to the point where he's like, oh yeah, he killed John Bonet too. Fucking listen. Please listen. Oh yeah, Teresa Halbach from Making a Murderer. Yeah, he did that shit too.
Yeah.
That's
He's killed everyone that's never been
anyway,
convicted.
there wasn't even there was a Timothy McVeigh connection too that I didn't even get to because that's fucking crazy.
Pretty sure he killed Nicole Simpson too.
I think we're maybe on a next episode of Cold Case Cameron. He's gonna reveal who really killed. What was the other guy's name? Ron
Goldman.
Goldman.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Goldberg. Isn't that the
Goldberg, the goalie?
Yeah, Bill Goldberg. He killed Bill.
Goodbye, guys.
If you'd like to learn more about our podcast, you can visit our website at hotsauced.co,
We're also on Patreon, iTunes, Podbean, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, MySpace, Plenty of Fish, Tinder, Bumble, eHarmony, Match, Farmers Only, and FishandBitches.com.